What's up, everybody? It's Austin J, or hallucinodream if you know me from the gaming community. And before we get into this episode, I wanted to apologize for the quality. The quality is not going to be as good as it has been in the past because I am recording from my mobile stream and mobile podcast setup. I am doing this because our house is currently under construction. It's under renovation, and the room that I stream in, the room that I do my podcast in, is actually part of the renovation. So, unable to access that computer, that setup. So, I'm doing it from a mobile setup. The room that I'm in right now has a lot of wood, walls, floors, desk. The sound is bouncing off everything. I apologize for the quality, but it will only be temporary. Thank you in advance for understanding. I hope it's not going to deter you from continuing to listen. And hope you enjoyed the episode. Thank you again. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Game On Improve Your Health podcast. My name is Austin J, or hallucinodream if you know me from the gaming community. And tonight I am solo queuing this podcast episode. I am not being joined by my lovely wife and co-host this evening, but that is okay. Next week on the follow-up question and answer, I will be having her, go over what she thinks of the episode, what she thinks on the topic, and therefore, so she's not disappearing forever. Now, the topic this week is fear, okay, and how it impedes progress, dictates decisions, and causes setbacks in wellness, your health and wellness journey, and general life, right? General life journeys. So that's the topic, is fear. Now, what is fear? Fear is simply being afraid of something, right? The act of being afraid of something, a situation, whatever it may be in life. An example would be, being afraid to maybe take a step into a new career path, right? Maybe you are sitting somewhere, and this has happened to me a couple different times. Maybe you're sitting in a job that you really don't like too much, and you want to make that leap, but you don't know how. Not that you don't know how, you're afraid to do it, okay? Which, you don't know how might be part of the fear, right? That would be fear. So we're going to go over that. And by we, I mean me. And so before we get into the topic, I just want to say I apologize for last week. We didn't do an episode last week. Time got away from us. It was the 5th week of a month, which was March, okay? And how our schedule works, I just want to throw this out there. I think I've said this before. I'm going to say it again, it'll be posted in several different places. Our schedule is first and third weeks of the month is the podcast topic, okay? So this is the topic of fear. And then the second and fourth weeks are the follow-up question and answers. That's when we follow up to what we said, add anything that we may have missed, and then answer any questions that may have come in. The 5th week, if there is a 5th week in a month, we are going to do just a fun episode. We're going to chit chat. We're going to talk about all the other episodes, anything we feel like talking about. We're going to answer questions that come in directly, answer any questions we might have gotten to that may have come in after our follow-up and question and answer episodes and all of that. So I just wanted to let everybody know that's what's going to be happening in the future. We didn't make it happen this first 5th week of March, but any that come into the future months, that's the plan. So let's get into fear. I wanted to talk about this topic because fear is a leading factor on why people don't progress in a lot of different ways, not just your fitness, your health and wellness, but life in general. An example is exactly what I just said in regards to a career. So I can say I fell into that routine where I was working at a job I truly didn't like very much, and I had the means to be able to go forward. I believe at this time I did have a certification, a degree in a field of interest, but I was afraid to make the move. I was always afraid. In the past, I was always one of those people, and I think there's a lot of people who can relate to this. I was always one of those people who, I didn't really want to restart at a job, right? You got to meet new people. You got to learn new stuff to be able to do the job properly. You have to, it's just a huge learning curve. and a potential pay reduction as a temporary, downfall as well. This drives a lot of fear in people, right? That's just an example, right? So there's a career example. Sorry, I'm incredibly tired today. I'm going to stutter a lot. I'm just throwing that out there. Also, it's not going to be as interesting because the wife's not here. So sorry. Also, I'm sorry for the. I'm in a different location. I'm using my mobile setup. I didn't start with that, but I'm using my mobile setup. So if it's echoing, I do apologize. This is a big echoey room. Okay, our original room, our main room is under construction. So, anyways, now that I got off topic, you'll if you know me and you hang out with me long enough or listen to me long enough, you'll know I get off topic quite a bit, especially if I'm by myself. And I'll cut myself off. My wife really hates when I cut myself off. But another example of fear, outside of career, would be just life in general. So one thing that, an example of how I let fear, rule my life in general is I used to have passions, right? I still have passions, okay? But I used to have some different passions, and I let what people said get to me and drive fear into me not to pursue those passions, so I never did that. That's one thing I can say you really should not do, okay? Listening to people is good to an extent, taking into consideration what they're saying, to an extent. But, if you really want to pursue something, this was particularly in regards to what I wanted to do it as a career, okay? I was told by, a couple different people here and there that the career path that I was about to choose, I was about to go to college for, wasn't necessarily realistic, which, hindsight, that wasn't true, right? But I let it dictate my decisions, which is, what we want to talk about here. And, for a couple of years after that, I did regret, not going, not starting. And then at that point, it's like, I'm even more fearful to start because it's like so many years have passed and maybe I shouldn't do it, this and that. Don't let what people say get to you to that degree, right? Take what they're saying into consideration. It's all situational, okay? I cannot say that your situation is going to be the same as mine, but take into consideration what they're saying. But if you are passionate about something, you want to pursue something, go ahead and pursue it. One thing that I have heard recently, I've also heard quite a bit, is people, being told that they need to go to college and pursue a degree and, do this and that, and they have to go to college. If you don't know what you want to do, especially the younger generation, right? If you don't know what you want to do, don't jump right into college. There's a lot of people, you can talk to a lot of people, you can look at statistics, there's a lot of people that go to college because they feel the need that they need to, then they don't know what they want to do, they change their majors a couple different times, or they drop out in general, and the college is just useless, right? Because they didn't go in knowing exactly what they wanted to do. Now on the other spectrum, you could go in thinking you want to do something and then change halfway through because you realize you didn't want to do that. That's okay, right? Life is a big learning curve. Don't let fear prevent you from holding back a little bit in regards to college. Now, I totally just transferred into college, but because that's where my story went. But, and I'm not a disclaimer. I'm not a what do I want to say? A medical professional. There's a word for it. I told you I'm tired. People who help people through situations. Anyways, I am working on becoming a certified wellness coach, which is very great. That's exactly where I want to be, but I'm not there yet. So working on some techniques, right? But don't let fear drive you in the fact that if you don't know what you want to do, that you have to go to college. You don't. Okay? I'm not saying you don't ever have to go, and I'm not saying, don't go to college. Don't twist my words, okay? Don't say that, hallucinodream, Austin J said, I don't have to go to college and I don't have to do anything for the rest of my life. That's not what I'm saying, right? You still have to find something that you enjoy and get a job and everything. And if you're in college, right, and maybe what you're in really isn't, maybe you're even two years in already, and what you picked just isn't for you, right? Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid just because you're 2 years in to change, to look at other options that might be of interest to you, especially if it's already on the same campus, the same college that you're going to, right? And if you're going online, it's that much easier because you're already living at your house, right? And online school is not easy by any means. I'm going to online school, and it's a lot of it's self-paced, but you have to put the work in. So if you don't generally have that kind of self-determination or motivation, it is pretty tough. So. But it is totally worth it. Okay, a lot of things are transitioning online, but don't let fear drive you, right? There's a life example and there is a career example. The life example transitions into career. Now, this also affects health and wellness, right? There's a lot of people who, are afraid to start a health and wellness routine. Maybe they are afraid of being judged by somebody, right? When I first went to the gym, I made sure that I didn't go to the gym. And I went to a small gym where there was very, very few members. The chances of me running into people were very slim. But I made sure that I went at a time where there was like nobody there, right? Because I didn't want people to judge me for what I was doing because I was new into it. I didn't want people looking at me. I didn't want people whispering things and me think that they're poking fun at me because I'm doing an exercise wrong because I'm new, right? Not that they know that. But so I'll let fear drive, the time that I went to the gym. I also have let fear remove me from the gym setting several different times before I really got into it and stuck with it, right? So don't let fear, going to the gym is intimidating. There's a lot of intimidating factors. There's a lot of different exercises you can do, a lot of different muscle groups. There's, and then there's cardio that you can do, right? Cardio, resistance training, all of that. If you are, afraid to start, find some outlets to help you start, right? Maybe ask a friend to join you, or try to find some. YouTube is incredibly powerful. That's probably where you're watching right now, and if not, right? YouTube's incredibly powerful, has millions of videos of workouts, especially at-home workouts. Just start at home, right? Get into a little at-home. We have a whole episode on at-home workouts that you can do. We have 2 episodes with a follow-up episode, right? Go back and listen to that, and then you can get some workouts that you can do right from home. Don't even require any weights or anything, right? Just start with that. Get yourself into a routine, and maybe you'll feel a little more confident to go into the gym. But I can tell you from experience, especially since I've been going to the gym for quite some time, I just got back into it now since the pandemic was closed for quite some time. It's totally different than how it used to be, but I can tell you that me going to the gym, I have never once looked at someone and, judge them, right? There are definitely people doing some exercises wrong, and, I do wonder myself if they know that and if someone is going to teach them. But I know there's also, don't go and just teach somebody something, unsolicited advice. Don't give that. It's also a thing. So, but if somebody does an exercise wrong, they might be new, right? Because that's what I did. I did a lot of exercises wrong. I probably still do some wrong, right? Because nobody has done every single exercise. So it's always a learning curve. Everybody's always learning. Think of it that way when you want to start a health and wellness routine, especially what I'm talking about, going to the gym. Now, some people just might be afraid of starting because they maybe don't want to get injured. Maybe people don't want to start a cardio routine because they don't want to get injured. You just got to start slow, right? And while I'm talking about all this, as I think I said earlier, I am a certified personal trainer. So if anybody has any questions or is interested in getting help or wants an at-home routine, I do have a routine, a promotion going on. I didn't say that. Sorry, I made a vlog earlier. Wow, brain is fried today. I have a 90-day program at home, resistance bands and body weight. I'm running a promotion. It's $100 for the whole 90 days as opposed to $100 a month. And you get access to the app, which gives you videos gives you instructions on every single workout, tells you what to do, when to do it, how many sets, how many reps, and everything of the sort. So, and direct access to talking to me. So if you have any, or if you're interested in that, you can reach out to me at anywhere on our social medias at One Punch or on hallucinodream. If you have any questions and you're going to a gym, right, just ask somebody. A lot of people are willing to help you, especially if somebody's doing an exercise that you are about to do and you're not sure if you do your workout, that specific workout, correctly. You can always ask somebody. I've had people approach me that I was doing the same workout, just random people inside the gym. They asked me about this, and they asked me about that workout, how to target specific muscles or what muscle group that I am working on and what that does. And I don't mind. I actually really appreciate that they asked me, and I help them out, right? And this was before I even became a personal trainer. So kind of why I became a personal trainer. I enjoy doing that, right? So people aren't really... people like to help people. Also, there are trainers. I've said this in a different episode as well. There are trainers that will help you. With workouts, maybe what to do, how to organize them. Organizing is another thing that prevents people from doing it because you're just afraid that you might, maybe you're just afraid you're going to organize it wrong. You're going to put one muscle group with something else and you're going to injure yourself or you're going to be too fatigued. You're not going to get your workout in. So, I mean, there's many ways around. There's many ways around the aspect of fear that you can really just help yourself to try to get past that. Use a friend to help. Use a friend. Ask some help. That's the most powerful thing I can say is to ask a friend, especially when you're coming to, especially in regards to health and wellness routines, right? Cardio. And workouts, going to the gym, even starting at home, walking in the neighborhood. Ask a friend. A lot of times people will join you, right? Walking specifically is a very, very good exercise, very good for many different aspects of health, right? So ask a friend. Fear is a huge factor that dictates just so many decisions. I'm a Spartan racer. Little story time here. I am a Spartan racer, right? So in 2017, I started my workout journey, literally January 1st, right? It wasn't because of I wanted to New Year's resolution, right? I don't do that. I've explained this before. I did it because I wanted to do it, solely for that reason. And midway through 2017, I decided I saw the World Toughest Mudder, which is basically Spartan race. It's an obstacle course race. I will always say that I recommend an obstacle course race to people. Do it with a group of friends if you haven't done it before. And I saw it on TV and I was like, that's what I want to do. That's exactly what I want to do. These people were basically going through hell running 60-something miles in this episode of World Toughest Mudder that I'm watching. And I'm like, yeah, I want to do that. But I did research and I've never done it before. I was barely even a runner. As a matter of fact, I never was a runner, right? I was a sprinter before that, and then I've never actually run more than a mile unless I was forced to do it. And, so I was afraid that I was going to make a fool of myself, I was going to pass out on the course, or I wasn't strong enough to do the obstacles. So, I asked a buddy to do it, right? And that's what got me into doing it. I asked a buddy to do it. Now, this was not the Spartan race. Even though I did an obstacle course race, I was still afraid to do a Spartan race. I met my wife, who wasn't my wife at the time, and I said, you're doing a Spartan race with me, and that's it, right? And that was the only reason why I did it. I wouldn't have signed up myself. I wouldn't have done it myself, but because I was afraid to do it myself. But I told her that we started talking. Obviously, we went on a couple of days, but I was like, hey, there's a Spartan race. I want to do it. The first one I did, not Spartan race, not as hard. It was fun. And, she's kind of that kind of person where I was like, it's going to be hard to do. And she's like, challenge accepted. Her exact words. And, she almost beat me up during the first race because it was that tough. And she'll tell you the story in the follow-up. It's pretty funny. Actually, all of our stories are pretty funny in regards to Spartan race. But, yeah, so I used my own advice. I asked a friend, and I went to do it. with her, and I've been racing since. Now, I raced with her the first couple times, and then I had a race that I had to do myself because she couldn't join. And I, of course, was very scared, but I wanted to do it. I loved the act of doing the Spartan races. It really drove motivation that I was signing up for these races. It drove motivation for me to keep running and keep getting better at running and keep getting stronger, right? And even though it was about a 2.5-hour drive, I had to drive there myself and run, which this first race that I did by myself was a half marathon. It was called a Beast. And it took me 6 hours to run, right, by myself. And boy, was it tough. It was fun at first, and then halfway through, I was like, I can't wait to stop. And then once I was finished, I was like, this was the greatest experience of my entire life. After I got through that by myself, I mean, I can race as many times as I want by myself, right? It's just the initial act of getting past that fear. Go out of your comfort zone. Millions of people say that. Go out of your comfort zone, and you will, what is the term I'm looking for? Something like a butterfly. You'll become a butterfly from a caterpillar in a cocoon, right? You're inside your comfort zone in the cocoon. Sorry, you go outside of it, now you're a butterfly. That's the best example I can say, right? Weird example, weird sort of type metaphor, but you completely understand, right? And if you don't, that's okay too. But there's another, that's the most powerful, asking someone, right, to go along with you. And if you can't find anybody that will join you at a Spartan race because that's what you really want to do, if you really want to do it and you really have a passion for whatever you're thinking about doing, and or you need to start a health and wellness routine, do a little bit of research and just do it yourself. Even though it's going to be scary, and I'm not the most social butterfly at first. I can become very social, but I'm not the most social butterfly at first. I'm using a lot of butterfly references. But during the Spartan races, I do meet people, right? I do talk to people because everybody is there for the same reason, to do the Spartan race, to see if they complete it, to basically go through the pain and suffering of the Spartan race, right? And feel that immense accomplishment afterwards. Now this goes for everything in life, right? Obviously, there's not going to be pain and suffering through most of the things through life, I would hope. I went and talked to people, and I knew going into those, even though I was scared, I was like, I just gotta meet somebody at the starting line, talk to them, crack some jokes, hopefully they're okay with comedy, and tell them that I ate McDonald's right before I got here, which was my go-to, and because you don't do that, it's not a good idea. And then go from there. Again, if you ever meet me, you'll know I'm not the greatest socially adept person. If I just use that word correctly, the wife will smite me when she hears this that I didn't. But, so just health and wellness in general. I mean, it's super important not to let fear control your decisions in life in general, but in your health and wellness routine. Health is one of the most important things. As a matter of fact, it is the most important thing. And I do say that all the time. If you don't have your health, you really can't have anything else, right? If you don't have your health, you can't really hold a job, right? You might not be able to hold a job. If you don't have your health, you won't be able to take care of your family. If you don't have your health, you won't be able to do all these races that you want to do, right? If you don't have your health, you won't be able to attend college. I mean, the list goes on and on. And people can say that that's not the most important thing, but if you think about it, it is. It really is. So you really want to try to focus on your health and your wellness, and you want to try to put fear aside. Now, they don't, fear and your thoughts on things do go hand in hand with a lot of different things, but they're complete different entities, right? The way you think about things, it's not as scary. If you think back on things that you have done in the past, and you think back on the things that you've done that you were absolutely scared to do at first, but then you did it, the outcome is probably usually the same. You were afraid, you went and did it, afterwards you felt great, and you easily could have done it again, right? that's usually how it works. So if you make a decision that you want to do something and you go in thinking that, you'll be okay. You'll more than likely be okay. Now, I am not going to go into too much depth on here. I really wanted to touch on health and wellness. In regards to fear, I also wanted to touch on the stuff that I did in regards to career and college, because everything really ties in. Health is the most important thing, like I just said, but all of that, and if you let fear dictate your life, your mood is going to start decreasing, right? And your mood really weighs heavily on your health. If you let fear drive your decisions and you prevent yourself from doing things that you enjoy or want to do, and you just sit at a quote unquote comfortable spot, you're more than likely not as happy as you could be, right? Which is going to affect other decisions, maybe prevent you from actually starting a health and wellness routine. Mood is incredibly powerful. I think we did an episode on that as well. Your mood mindset, really. You just got to try not to let fear dictate your life, right? So those are the main three, aspects of fear that I wanted to talk about, how it can dictate lots of different things and really, really decrease your mood and mindset, potentially your health, your career choices, and as well as other things. So I tend to ramble towards the end of these things, so I'm going to cut myself off. I don't want this episode to be too long. Next week, we will be doing I'm changing up what we're going to do. So next week, Wednesday, April 14th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, I will be live on the podcast, okay, with or without the wife as a co-host. She might join me afterwards, but I'm going to keep the podcast every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m., okay, live on Twitch and YouTube, and it'll be posted on the podcast platform the following Friday, which is the day after, okay? So we're going to try to keep that schedule 100%, 7:30 with her. I'm going to try to get her on next week, though, because I want her to listen to the podcast, okay, and give her point of view on fear, how it dictates decisions, tips on how to get past it. If anybody has any questions about what I said or has any comments, anything, let us know. Next week will be the follow-up and question and answer, and we would love to answer any questions, especially if she is here. And, submit them on any of our website. I just totally read. If you're watching live, on YouTube, over here on your left is all the social media on the website. You can submit any questions there. You can submit any questions on my social media, which is hallucinodream, and we will answer them on the follow-up question and answer. Now, I'm going to end there. Again, my name is Austin J, or hallucinodream. I appreciate those who have tuned in, who are listening, and I appreciate those listening on the podcast platform. Hope to see you guys next week, April 14th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, live on Twitch and YouTube. And, have a good rest of your week.